So welcome back everybody to a brand new video here on the second channel. Now, while I've been doing a lot of videos on Portland, we've actually got quite a few new card reveals from the original 151 set. It seems like every day we are getting more cards revealed from the set. In fact, we even got fossils coming back once again with Kabutops and Aerodactyl and Amistar. So I'm really excited to kind of look at them. I haven't really given all the cards a big in-depth look yet. I was saving it for a video here on the second channel. And by the time this video goes up, we're probably going to see even more new cards get revealed from this original 151 set. And I'm excited. If y'all are excited too, make sure you like on the video. And if you haven't subbed yet to the second channel here, make sure to click that subscribe button down below so you are never going to miss an upload here on the second channel. But yeah, let's take a look at some of the new cards. So the first thing we got is this new Cubone and Marowak. Now, Marowak is pretty vanilla. It does 120 for 2, can attack, bone throw, 1 for 30, 32, one of your opponent's bench Pokemon. Nothing to write home about. However, this card synergizes really well with the Cubone. Cubone's got the ability Support Bone. The attacks of your Marowak do 30 more damage to your opponent's active Pokemon. So if you have 4 Cubone in play, you can do 120 more damage with your Marowak. And then all of a sudden, Marowak's boundless power is going from 120 damage all the way to 240, which isn't bad, and then even Bone Throw is doing 150. So it's cool. Now, the problem is you do have to evolve Cubone, so technically you can only use 3 Cubone. However, we can play this with Zoroark from Evolving Skies, and you can use Zoroark to turn into Marowak and then bench the 4 Cubone. So that's one way you could go about this strategy. I did pull up Pokemon cards. I kind of wanted to look at all the other Marowak cards, because this card basically means any Marowak card can do more damage. Now, I don't think it's going to work with Alolan Marowak GX, so if it could, that could be pretty sweet. We do have Marowak here with Bone Meringue. I almost said Boomerang. Bone Meringue doing 90 damage. Flip 2 coins for each head. I mean, 90 plus, you know, the 50 damage you could do, or 120 damage you could do ain't too shabby. We got the Alolan Marowak. Again, I'm not sure if Marowak or Cubone works with Alolan Marowak. There's this Marowak here. There's a Marowak break we could play it with. So there are some decent Marowaks we could technically combine it with. I just wanted to note that any Marowak card is going to be good with Cubone. I thought that was kind of cool. There's nothing, like, Marowak's not like a crazy good Pokemon. We've got like a few playable ones. Like I think Marowak break and a little Marowak saw some play. But overall, Marowak is cool. And anytime we get a new Marowak card, then Cubone will be good. And if Cubone does work with Marowak EX, that could be sweet. I don't think it does, but it'd be cool if it did. If we ever get a Marowak EX, right? They could just immediately work with it. Next up, we got a new Victreebel line here. Now, Victreebel's got a really cool attack with Delayed Acid. This is actually the first time we've seen an attack kind of do this, I think. So basically, the name is literally Delayed Acid for a reason. Or, yeah, Delayed Acid for a reason. It does 120 damage, and then at the end of your opponent's next turn, you put 12 damage counters on the defending Pokemon. So I think essentially what this does is you do 120. And if the Pokemon, I don't think, if they don't move from the active spot, I think they just get the 120 damage. Now, I don't know if they would have to move or not to reset or get rid of the attack. Now, if you were to play Victreebel, I think you would want to play it with Spidops EX, so the opponent cannot retreat out of the active, so they would be stuck in the active spot while the Delayed Acid takes effect, so that it's like, oh, I can't retreat, I don't have a switch in my hand, Spidops gives me like a 4 retreat cost, can't move, all right, well, it looks like I'm taking the 12 damage. And the cool thing with this attack is, if you actually take a knockout with Delayed Acid, that could be really cool. Like, you can do 120, say, against Mariah, you do 120, then they can't move, and then they take the 12 damage going back into your turn. They would get knocked out, meaning that going into your turn, they would have to promote a new Pokemon, which is kind of cool. The downside of Victreebel, it is a stage 2. Obviously, it's a little bit slower. You do have to, you know, use like rare candy and stuff. I think the Weeping Bell is still in the format, though, that when you evolve it, you can burn and confuse, or is it burn and poison? There's a Weeping Bell from Battle Styles that does have a really cool ability that does affect your opponent with special conditions. So I think you could play that in the Victreebel deck, too. But yeah, I think if you're going to play Victreebel with Delayed Acid, I think you want to play it with Spidops EX, and maybe like Charm to like build it up or something. Then we got a new Tangela. Nothing to write home about. It is a basic that does 1 for 10, and then if you played an Erica's Invitation from your hand during this turn, you could do 60 more damage, so you can do 1 for 70 if you play the Erica. Now, Erica does state that you can look at your opponent's hand, and then you choose a Pokemon you find there, put it on their bench, and then switch that Pokemon that you put down with their active. So it's like a pseudo, like, well, it actually isn't really a pseudo. It's like a different take on, like, the Gust mechanic. Not sure Erica's super good, but Tangela can do 70 damage. If you want to kind of look more at my thoughts about Erica, I did include Erica in the video I did, where I looked at the Charizard, Blastoise, Venusaur EX cards that got revealed a while back. But it's interesting. I mean, it makes sense. Erica does use a Tangela on her team, so it makes sense that a Tangela would synergize with Erica's Invitation, which there's a Vileplume in this set, by the way, that hasn't been revealed yet, and I wonder if Vileplume's going to work with Erica too. But yeah, Tangela's, it's fine. I mean, 1 for 70 if you play Erica's okay. I mean, maybe you can take a knockout with something. I'm not sold on it, but it is a really cool attack nonetheless. If it only did more damage than 70. But yeah, the Victreebel is really cool. It could be a fun rogue deck. Again, more or less a rogue deck than an actual competitive deck, but the attack is really cool, and there are some really cool plays you can make with Victreebel, especially if the Pokemon gets KO'd by Delayed Acid going back into your turn. And I'm pretty sure they can switch to remove the effect. If they don't switch to remove the effect, then Delayed Acid actually could be pretty cool. So, yeah, maybe it's actually a good attack. If the Pokemon doesn't have to switch, if I'm reading that wrong, which let me know in the comments if I am, if they actually even if they switch, the effect still takes a place, and the new Pokemon would take the 12 damage. This actually could be kind of solid as a fun rogue. Next up is a new Staryu and Starmie. We've had some pretty cool Starmie cards before, and this one is no exception. It's got the ability Aquatic Enigma. Once during your turn, you may put 2 damage counters on one of your opponent's Pokemon. If you place any damage counters in this way, discard this Pokemon and all attached cards. So it's like a weird, like, Inteleon effect. Instead of, being able to stack the ability or anything, you can just use the ability once, and then you have to discard the Starmie from play. Now, this could work with something like Gyarados EX as an example. Could work with Gyarados, and it could be kind of cool with, like, Lost Box. I mean, Galarian Zigzagoon did rotate, and Hawlucha is good, but Starmie could be better. So, I don't know. Starmie's a really cool ability. Again, I think it could be cool with something like maybe Palkia, where you just want to get that extra 20 damage on the board. Could be good with like Arceus. I'm just trying to think of ideas where it could be good. I definitely think Gyarados EX is like the first thing that kind of jumps in my head. And again, you do have to discard the Starmie, and it looks like you would have to discard the Staryu too. You could play Starmie with Zoroark. You can use Zoroark, transform into Starmie, and then discard it, and then have another Zoroark turn to that Starmie you discarded, and kind of loop that over and over, which is kind of cool. So, I don't know. There could be like a weird turn where you like do 3 Starmie in a turn, and then put 6 on the board, and then play Hawlucha and knock out Comfey. I don't know. This is kind of a cool idea I came up with, but I kind of like Starmie. It's a cool ability. Let me know down in the comments below what you think Starmie could be good with, because I do like the ability. Being able to apply extra 20 damage a turn is good, even if it's really like a one-time thing where you'd have to get the Starmie back. I mean, we do have Clara, which would be a cool card to play with Starmie, obviously, and there is also Miriam and the new Super Rod. We are getting Super Rod back, which would also be good with Starmie, too. Next up, we got Onix and Raichu. We got a Raichu with an ability, which is always interesting to see. When one of your Pokemon is knocked out by damage from an attack from your opponent's Pokemon, you may move 1 basic lightning energy from that Pokemon to this Pokemon. So Raichu basically conserves your lightning energy in play, and it's got the attack Thunder that does 180 damage and then does 50 to itself. Nothing crazy to write home about. The attack isn't strong, but being able to conserve lightning energy could be good. There might be a combo that I'm missing or forgetting that Raichu could be decent with. This could work with like Energy Switch maybe to move energy around. I'm not sure there's a combo where keeping light energy in play is good right now, but the idea is really cool. So I don't know if there's any combo for Raichu. Let me know in the comments below. I might be missing something, but yeah, Raichu's got a really cool ability. If it did more damage, that'd be cool. I mean, 180 is not bad. You can play Defiance Band to do 210 against like EXs, but like it's still like not KOing Miraidon. It's a cool idea. But it could be a fun little like late game attacker. Maybe it'll be a cool tech card in Miraidon. Maybe. Just kind of sits there, builds up energy. Next up, we have a new Onix. This card's really cool. So, usually you'll get like a good Steelix, but now we actually got a playable Onix with the attack Thumping Avalanche for a double turbo energy. Does 80 damage. Discard the top 5 cards of your deck. This attack does 80 more damage for each Pokemon with a retreat cost of 4 that you discarded. It has to be a 4. It can't be like anything higher. It has to be exactly a 4 retreat. Can't be lower, can't be higher. Now, the cool thing about that is that 80 times is a lot of damage. I mean, if you're discarding 4 Pokemon, you're doing quite a bit of damage with Onix, and you can play double turbo with it, so you can attack for a 1 energy attachment. The problem is how are you going to make this work exactly? You have to, discard Pokemon. Now, there isn't any more Oranguru in the format that you can just, like, Primate Wisdom a Pokemon on top of your deck. There is Switching Cups, which you could play with Onix. I think the way to play this would just be to play with a ton of Pokemon with 4 retreat, and there's quite a few in the format that this would synergize with, so you could just do that. There's a Steelix from, I think it's Cosmic Eclipse, I think it is, or yeah, I think it's Cosmic Eclipse, where you can discard any number of Pokemon with a 4 retreat from your hand, and it's like 50 for each one you discarded in this way. I've done a video on it multiple times, and I guess that Steelix now has an Onix to go with it. But if you're going to play Onix, I think you just play a deck with like 20 plus Pokemon with a 4 retreat cost, and you just keep milling them over and over. It'd be pretty cool. So it's a kind of a cool concept. Again, if you discard 5 Pokemon, you're doing a lot. I mean, even 4 Pokemon would be enough to take knockouts on stuff, which is kind of cool. So I don't know. The Onix is kind of a strong card. I like it. It's a cool concept. Now let's take a look at some of the new fossils we got. So the first thing we got is Old Amber Fossil. Play this card as if it was a 60 HP basic colorless Pokemon, and you can also discard it from play anytime you want. This Pokemon cannot be affected by special conditions or retreat. Does have an ability, though, which is kind of cool. I think it's the first time we've seen one of these like fossil cards have an ability. Prevent all effects of your opponent's abilities done to this Pokemon. That's cool. I'm not sure how good that'll be. I mean, quick shooting doesn't see play right now, and, I guess it can't be Hawlucha. Still can be Sableye, though. Boo. All right, then we got Aerodactyl. This is actually a pretty playable Aerodactyl. So we can take a look at Aerodactyl here. Aerodactyl does have the attack Degeneration Arc for a double turbo energy. It does 100 damage. And then, if your opponent's active Pokemon is an evolved Pokemon, de-evolve it by putting the highest stage evolution into your opponent's hand. Now, this is really good against EXs. So if your opponent has a Gardevoir EX in the active spot, you de-evolve it for 80 or 100 damage, depending on the double turbo, and then it would go into Curlia or Ralts, and then it would get knocked out. Now, the downside of this is you're not taking 2 prizes, but you are removing the EX from play, and I think at first this card is mediocre. It's honestly not bad against Gardevoir, which is, I think, kind of the selling point of the Aerodactyl. It's actually pretty decent against Gardevoir, but as time goes on and we get more Evolution EX Pokemon, this will actually be good. I mean, the ones we have right now is like Gardevoir and Magnezone. We do have some new ones coming out in the new set. We got the new Meowscarada, Quaquaval EX, those are looking pretty good. I think there's a few more that might be good. And, I mean, there are some other evolution niche Pokemon, again, like Magnezone EX, Ampharos EX we just got is another big one. But Aerodactyl definitely might be good down the road later on in the format when more evolution EXs come out. This does work against VMAXs. Keep that in mind, but, I mean, 80 to 100 damage is not knocking out a VMAX Pokemon if it evolves into a V. But it is cool. Again, pretty good against Gardevoir EX. I think that's like the main thing. It's like a pretty good anti-Gardevoir card. So keep that in mind. Next up, we got a new Kabutops and Omastar. So Omastar is really cool. We've had some pretty cool Omastars in the past. This one has Primal Tentacles. As long as it's in the active spot, your opponent's active cannot retreat. So it's like block Snorlax. And then we got the attack Aqua Split doing 90 damage. This attack does 30 more damage, or 30 damage to 2 of your opponent's bench Pokemon, so pretty overall weak attack. The ability's cool as like a lock deck. Omnimite here, it's got Tentacle Return doing 50, and then you put energy from your opponent's active Pokemon in their hand. If some like a memory capsule existed, Omastar could be kind of cute. But yeah, then we got Kabutops. Now, Kabutops is like a pretty interesting card. Now, this card has me excited. It's got the ability Ancient Logic. Apply weakness for your opponent's active Pokemon as ×4 instead. Now, I don't think you can use this with super effective glasses and like all of a sudden make it like ×12 or something crazy like that. But it is a really cool ability. Making ×4 weakness is honestly pretty good. And I've done many videos on ×4 weakness combos before. They're really fun to play because it makes a Pokemon that does like 60 to 70 damage all of a sudden do like 320 damage out of nowhere. So yeah, the ability is really cool. It is a stage 2, but it does of course work with these new fossils here. The old Dome fossil. Play this card as if it was a 60 HP basic Pokemon. At any time during your turn, you may discard it from play. And it does have another ability here where it takes 30 less damage from attack. So this fossil has 90 HP. I don't think we got a fossil revealed for Omastar. Unless I'm missing something here. Evolved from Old Helix. Yeah, I don't think we saw Old Helix fossil get revealed yet. We did get Old Amber and Old Dome, but no Old Helix. But yeah, it's cool that the fossils have an ability. I mean, taking 30 less damage. I'm not sure that's super relevant. I mean, you have 90 HP, but you never know. Kind of cool, I guess. They should just make it so they can't be affected by effects of attack, so these things can't be Sableye. But yeah, Kabutops is really cool. Being able to make weakness ×4 is insane. And notice how it says only your opponent's active. It's not all Pokemon in play. We've had like a Vileplume before, and I think we've even had an Uxie that did do ×4 weakness as an ability, but I think it was all Pokemon had ×4 weakness. Kabutops is just your opponent, meaning that your Pokemon are not going to be ×4 weakness affected. That's actually really strong. I really like this Kabutops. It's going to be a fun one to play. It works pretty well with like something like Kecleon too, where you can match the type that it has. You could play this with like a weakness box deck. I am really excited to play Kabutops. I am a huge fan of these weakness box style decks. Again, I've done many videos on ×4 weakness decks in the past. You can look them up on my YouTube and watch them if you want. And they are a lot of fun to play, and I'm happy to see them come back with Kabutops. Really cool card. Excited to see it come out. But yeah, that's it for some of the new card reveals. Again, I'm probably by the time this video goes up, we're going to see even more new cards get revealed from this original 151 set. I'm excited. All the cards we looked at have been kind of interesting. Onix, Cubone, Marowak, Starmie's kind of cool. The new Victreebel's kind of sick too. Aerodactyl's really cool. Aerodactyl might be the best card that got revealed so far that we looked at in this video. But yeah, let me know what you think of the new cards down below in the comments below. I would be interested to hear. That'll be it for me. Hope you enjoyed the video. Go check out Pokebeach if you want to go read up on some of the new cards. And probably have to do an update video on this because I'm sure we're going to see even more new cards get revealed as time goes on. By the time it's uploaded, we're going to see even more because I'm pretty sure they're getting revealed day by day. But yeah, thanks for watching. Have a good rest of your day. Bye-bye.